The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation or Stewart Title. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
It's not just about real estate in our life. It's about these neighborhoods and about the sense of community. And history relates back to it because it gives you a sense of where you've been. We're focused on where we're going. Take the best of our past and create a lifestyle for today that's going to be better for those individuals in the future.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. Another radio adventure is ahead for us all as we entertain, inform, and inspire. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about things that relate to the home. So whether you are listening here in Houston, Texas, the Heights, Texas, Woodlands, Texas, Dallas, Montana, or anywhere else, we think you'll enjoy the show. We always have interesting people, and we're always brought to you by Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, where you can get home, auto, all kinds of insurance. So let's start the show right now with our first guest. He is a well-known, famous realtor right here in Houston. His name is Bill Baldwin with Boulevard Realty. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. We got a lot of bees going on today.
We really do. I almost said Baldwin Realty there for a minute because of all the bees that are flying around. But first of all, in case someone is outside of Houston and has not heard of Boulevard Realty.
That one guy in Montana listening?
Exactly. He's out there. Let's tell him about Boulevard Realty.
Thank you. Boulevard Realty is an independent real estate, residential real estate firm here in Houston and the greater Galveston area. We've been in business a little over 20 years, but I rebranded the name about 10 years ago and created what is today Boulevard Realty. And we have 60-plus agents, very committed to your neighborhoods, not selling homes, but we're selling a lifestyle and we're selling a neighborhood and trying to build those neighborhoods and make them better than they are today.
And you really are. And your offices, let's tell people the locations of your offices because each one of your offices are in such a wonderful part of the city and they have so many distinctions going on right there.
Our primary office has always been on Heights Boulevard, but we recently are in an expansion mode. And so we sold that building and we are temporarily at 833 Studewood right in the Heights while we're building a larger facility at 927 Studewood. We will be able to double our size and more than that, triple our parking. So that Heights location kind of serves that greater area of the city. And then we have a beautiful Art Deco building at 6117 Kirby in the Village. And then we have a building on Market Street in Galveston that services the south section of our city and the greater Galveston area.
Covering so many bases. And when we think of those, just those three locations, each one is so distinctive as far as the culture of Houston and the things that surround it, even the historic. Certainly Galveston and the Heights have so much history, as does Houston and the Kirby District, but it is just fascinating. You're covering those bases. And let's tell us, I was almost going to say, what's your favorite location, but each one's different, like having three children, huh, Bill?
It's like having 50 children,
oh my goodness.
50 amazing neighborhoods. Everyone's always asking, what are the up-and-coming neighborhoods? And
That's right.
I'm doing a feature in a magazine. It'll be out next month or whatever, talking about my 4 new favorite neighborhoods that are coming out, like the near North Side and Edu and Acres Homes and areas that are maybe undiscovered. I started about 20 years ago in the Heights, and it was an undiscovered jewel back then. While it has always been historic, it was not quite the neighborhood that we know it of today. And seeing the transformation of that neighborhood, seeing how more diverse, embracing the city has become, has been really the highlight of my career. The evolution of our city, its urban lifestyle, the number of people that want to move back into the inner city and participate. They don't want to just live here. They want a lifestyle related to the neighborhoods in which they live. Much like those on Galveston that want that particular lifestyle.
They want that island lifestyle there.
They love it. They're passionate about it. And it's hard to even explain it until you get there. But that's really the focus of our brokerage firm is being involved in those particular neighborhoods, knowing the individuals, knowing the players, knowing the lifestyle, and the amenities, the parks, the museums, the walking trails, the dog parks, the coffee shop, the wine bar, knowing the schools, knowing the interaction between the local homeowners association and the neighborhoods, because we're not just selling a house, we're selling a market value driven proposition that needs to increase in value. And the way you increase in value is make better schools, make safer streets, plant more trees, improve the sidewalks. And we're passionate about those sort of things. And it's not just about real estate in our life. It's about these neighborhoods, about the sense of community. And history relates back to it because it gives you a sense of where you've been. We're focused on where we're going. Take the best of our past and create a lifestyle for today that's going to be better for those individuals in the future.
And when we think about trends, let's start with the Heights. As you study real estate, I think 24/7, in between sleeping every now and then, I know it's such a part of your life. How do you what kind of trends, let's say, in the Heights? What do you see? It's so popular right now. I just talked to someone that grew up in the Heights, moved out to Richmond. She told me, I want to go back to the Heights. So what lies ahead for the Heights? And then let's say the same thing with Kirby, if you would speculate.
100 years ago, a house was about quality over quantity. And the booms of the 80s and, the McMansions of our world have probably taught us, and even the Great Recession of 2008 taught us to go back to that quality over quantity. And it's, I think the Heights has an architectural style, but it has a lifestyle. We used to talk about people love porches. How many communities where people spend time on their porches, out in their front yard? It's not that we only drink wine, but the number of people in the Heights who drink wine and share wine with their neighbors and want, like I say, they don't want to buy a house. They want to buy into a neighborhood with a sense of community. And so it's not about a bigger house. It's about a better quality house that allows for lifestyle. 20 years ago, we used to sell to the 26-year-old single female lawyer buying a 1,200 square foot bungalow. Today, I'm selling to her parents who are selling the mega mansion in Kingwood and are moving back into the city, choosing a smaller house, maybe even a smaller yard, because they want to work at Memorial Park Conservancy. They want to volunteer at the Holocaust Museum. They want a docent at the Menil, and they're trading bigger houses for better lifestyle. And that's what I see happening about the Heights, and its connectivity, the walkability, being able to walk to the coffee shop and ride your bike somewhere. That's what they want, the connectivity to Buffalo Bayou Park and to Discovery Green, and not being so car dependent today.
I think that's the quote of the month. Trading bigger house for better lifestyles. That is so well said. I think, did you say that before somewhere?
I just made that up.
I love that. And then right before you talked about the porch, I was thinking of we can all sit on our porch and decide which wine bar or which restaurant we want to go to. The porch is such a staple of American life and probably life in so many other countries. So it is very exciting. And that's right. That location of the Heights is spectacular.
It is. It is. And Montrose is a great neighborhood, and Edo is a great neighborhood. And you talked about Kirby and around the Villages and Boulevard Oaks and Southampton and Southgate. And we love those areas because of their sense of history, their commitment to the medical community, their commitment to their education facilities, how the village has evolved over time, and the connectivity that it brings to those neighborhoods also. It's probably a little more Pleasantville in that section of town than it is over in my area in the Heights or whatever. But people have choices today, and they have more and more choices than they've ever had before.
And let's talk about the Kirby location, because the Kirby location, I forget exactly when you started. It's not that long ago. So what inspired you to open the Kirby? And let's talk about that market.
We'd always had a presence there. We had an office on Bissonnette. We had an office on Morningside, but I wanted greater visibility. And we'd even done some billboards on Kirby to give us some visibility. But that location, which was next door to New Living, we incubated inside New Living for about a year, and then that opportunity came up. And that was the old Campus Cleaners. It's an Art Deco building from the 40s. They had a contract to service and clean the furs from Sakowitz Furs. So inside that Art Deco building is this amazing vault where they refrigerated and stored the furs before they cleaned them. And so that vault is still there today. We embraced the history of that building. We restored it the way it was. It's a spectacular facility. It's right between Rice University and University. Basically, there's 40,000 cars a day driving by and seeing that building. And it differentiated us. We were being pigeonholed into just a Heights agency. And we did about $200 million last year. $90 million was in the Heights. But $110 million was not in the Heights. And that's the message I need to continue to get out. That Kirby location continues that messaging that we need to say is that we have an agent in Bel Air. We have an agent in Clear Lake. We have agents in Post Oak Manor and in Edu and in Oak Forest and in Spring Branch and in Cinco Ranch. And, and with our little phones these days, you don't need 17 offices like real estate firms of yesteryear had, but we still need visibility. And getting that visibility and getting that messaging out is as important today as ever.
Two things. Let's go back to the vault. How big is that vault, by the way, roughly?
Vault's about 15 by 15.
Pretty cool.
We have a little kitchen in there now, and it's kind of the snack bar area. It freaks out a little people if they think they're going to be trapped into the vault.
Yeah, we don't want to, but that's pretty cool. Also, now let's give us a word about the Galveston location.
It's on Market Street. It's right by the Tremont. We'd had some other locations, but this gives us, our crust probably is the historic district, where our specialty is not the $20 million house necessarily on the beach. It's about the lifestyle and the walkability of the Strand and the historic district and the interaction of people there. And so our agents, we have about 8 or 10 agents that have always focused over there. They definitely work at a different pace and lifestyle on the island than they do in the city. And I think they're very proud of that also. But they're very committed to understanding how the historic properties work, how the historic districts work, the asset that has become to that section of the neighborhood, and continuing the history of that great city.
And also, Bill, let's tell them the website, how people can reach you.
We've made it simple, yourblvd.com. There's a boulevard all around you. It can be Seawall Boulevard in Galveston or Bel Air Boulevard or Ella Boulevard
Heights
or River Oaks
Boulevard.
Boulevard. Could be Heights Boulevard.
Indeed.
So it's yourblvd.com.
Interesting. Also, as you've been in real estate so long, a visionary, opening up these offices, and also with your hand on the pulse of what's going on in Houston and beyond even, what is it that keeps you so excited about real estate? Sometimes people can do something for a long time, they get bored, but you are still at the top of your game.
The transformation of this city, the greening of this city, the walkability of this city, people choosing neighborhoods that probably thrived in the 30s and 40s and maybe went into decline are now seeing great resurgence at a pace unknown to our city. This is a can-do city with lack of zoning and the investment and the commitment that people have to go and building better communities and realizing what we have inside the Loop and in the Greater Heights and Houston area. It's amazing to me how rapid the transformation can be, how you have to stay on the pulse of it. And the people, we're around amazing structures, but we're involved with amazing people who are committed to making our city better every day.
And it also seems, what's your take on this, Bill? It seems like so many people, it doesn't seem like it, they are coming to Houston, and I don't even know the numbers, but it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon.
No, even with the adjustment of oil, we continue to add populations. We focus on the number of new electric meters that come into the city. You can study permitting, but I study the amount of meters because that tells me how many new homes that we're having over here. And still, people are coming and embracing our diversity. They're embracing our lifestyle. We were known as the concrete city and the urban sprawl for so many decades, and now we're known again as the city of arts, the city of the culinary capital of the South, the city of people who are out and about and involved with the betterment in healthcare, in technology, in data. We're going to be known for more than oil. Let's embrace oil for what it is. Let's embrace all these other opportunities that our city. It's the city that put man on the moon, the first air-conditioned stadium. Our possibilities are endless over here, and you're going to see great things out of this city in the next decades.
I believe you are absolutely correct. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Baldwin. And Bill, once again, the website, please.
yourblvd.com.
And we're going to take a short break. You're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We're coming right back with even more. Stay with us.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick, and the show marches on. What a great show. So interesting. You're going to love what's next. She is Katie Scott and her husband, Stanton. And we're going to know exactly what you do in a few minutes. Katie, welcome to the show. And Stanton.
Thank you
Hello,
so much,
thank you.
Bill.
Very exciting to see you. And you just recently spoke at our Stewart Title sales meeting. We were all excited about your design creations, both in the interior, and you're an author, and your jewelry. So let's get started. Let's tell people about your company.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today, Bill. I really appreciate it. So I started Katie Scott Design back in 2005 with a focus on interior design. And as my spiritual life increased, I started moving into jewelry design. I wanted to design jewelry that was more significant and meaningful. And in the fall, we are actually launching into a full lifestyle brand. And I also authored a book titled Let It Be, which is about my spiritual path and journey.
And what I found interesting, too, when you talked to us at our sales meeting, I like the fact now you have, let's tell me, you have several children, right?
Yes,
Four
we have
to be
four
exact.
together.
At last count, right? Do you have any pets, by the way?
No pets.
Okay.
They're dying
Too
for
many
pets,
kids.
but I said that's a fifth child.
But my goodness, first of all, the one thing you said, and I think we in our show, we always like to talk about success too, what makes people successful. However, with that many children, so much responsibility, you said you start your day where you actually take a bit of time and meditate and kind of get synchronized. How do you do that with that much responsibility, first of all?
Absolutely, because I have seen what life is like before. I did not do daily meditation and prayer, and it actually led to a lot of stress and anxiety and chaos. And so once you finally realize you have all these elements in your life, we cannot escape hardships. We cannot escape challenges, both financially, personally, and with business. And so I decided to make a change. And when you make a change, you need to do things differently. So instead of waking up to work, I started waking up to prayer and meditation. I didn't know anything about meditation, actually. But since I've been doing it in 2008, I have noticed a significant change in my interior, which led me to really do the spiritual lifestyle line because it was such a significant difference. And it taught me how to be more well-balanced, how to manage challenges and really maneuver through them and not avoid them, but maneuver through them. I think that's very important.
And also, let's talk about the interior design. The pictures that I have seen, and recently from the meeting, I also looked at the website, the work that you do, you are truly an artist, certainly with jewelry, but as far as the home goes, realtors that are out there listening, let's tell people what homeowners and realtors should know about your designs and where they can see them because they are out of sight.
Oh, thank you so much. I think one of the most important things, especially as you develop your spiritual life, you start thinking about how can you go beyond the commodity, because most people do work in a commodity-driven business. So how can you make the commodity more meaningful and significant? For me, it was taking my gift of interior design and really tapping into the homeowner's core in individualism and to help them bring out the authenticity of who they were. Your home, I believe, is one of the most important investments, not only financially, but also because it is such the main source of inspiration. Your surroundings can influence you tremendously. And so I really design, I do not like to use the word decorate. I design for my clients, and that's why you'll see that my body of work is so diversified. It's because each person is looking for something different. And once you start stirring those emotions, then you really start allowing yourself and encouraging yourself to step outside of your comfort zone.
The home is so important. That's where we go to get started. That's where we are when we start our day, when we finish our day, when we sit and think about the opportunities, the challenges. Tell us the website, Katie.
It's katiescottdesign.com.
That's too easy. Katie,
That's
ScottDesign.com.
Katie.
There you go. Not like that. That's a different Katie, Texas, right?
That's right.
So, Stan, give us your take on this. You've been involved in the business, and it's a great team, a husband and wife team. It's great to have that support, I would think, for each of you.
It's been great to work together. I mean, we met later in life, so I get to work with my best partner and love of my life every day, and she truly does amazing things. And I come from a trader background, hedge fund kind of guy, and all of a sudden she started designing this jewelry. And when we got married, she's like, as every husband marries an interior designer, might know out there, I want to design handbags. And I'm like, oh no, what do you really mean?
Here we go. Let's just design the world.
Yeah, let's slow down. And so she did. She designed some beautiful jewelry. I was like, man, this is really beautiful. And, here I am 4 years later running the company and working with her. And I never thought I'd be in charge of a lifestyle brand.
And what I've taken away, it seems like as you've been involved in this, Katie, not just with the interior design, but the jewelry, it sounds like your reach is going outwards and you're meeting people all over the United States, probably the world, and people are finding out about what you're doing and seeing the beauty.
Yes, absolutely. I always believe, too, which is another advantage of meditation and prayer. Once you start opening yourself up to opportunities and allowing things to be and really allowing the universe to start working for you, I have found that networking, God always puts me in the right place at the right time to meet the right person. Even meeting you at Stewart Title is just a prime example and why I'm sitting here today.
It's funny how doors open and sometimes close too. Also, as a designer, let's take, everyone has their home, and if they're like me, and some are, believe it or not, they go to their home and they say, man, my room's just not doing it for me. Maybe they look at their whole house. But what would you advise someone? Certainly they can reach out and call you. However, what would you advise someone if they just want to refresh the interior, let's say, of their family room? They're sitting there and they're saying it's just not right. What, with your trained eye, what would you advise these people to do if they want to at least attempt themselves?
Exactly. There are some really simple things you can do. The first question I ask every single client is, how do you want to feel? That's the first question you need to ask yourself, because depending on how you want to feel in a room, some people need to feel more peace. Some people need to feel more excitement. Some people need to feel more love. So, for example, if you're wanting to feel peace, you would really want to simplify and be a lot more minimalistic, really declutter your home, and some really basic things, just reupholstering or slip covering your furnishings in one neutral color, and then just having small accents of colors, peaceful colors such as a light blue.
Orange isn't going to be soothing.
Orange is when you're looking for love. That's a warmer
there you
tone.
go.
So again, if you're looking for warmth, I would use an orange. If you're looking for excitement, red, some more bright colors. But you can do some small things, just neutralizing the room, and then one good thing at a time. And really even just if you're on a tight budget, pillows, accessories, throw blankets, always a fresh flowers or a fresh plant. I use orchids because they last typically for a few weeks. So you can grab one at Randall's for, maybe $19.99 and Trader Joe's for $12.99.
And as I was preparing for the show, I found a clip, I don't know if it was a podcast or a video clip, where you said something about that I'd rather have a room that's empty. Now, I'm paraphrasing. I'd rather have it empty with just one nice piece in it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, because I tell that to everyone.
Let's hear it again.
Seriously, less is more. One good thing at a time. If I had to just pick one thing, I would have just a white room with one incredible piece of art, and I would even sit on the floor.
Very nice. Now, Stan, give us another word of your support role here, and also how, as a business, Katie seems like she has so much from creativity and artwork. How do you guide and wrangle this? Because everything boils down to business. We have to put bread on the table and do all these
You
things.
say that. We were just talking about something earlier today.
All right,
so
share that.
Our lifestyle brand, we're also going to pair out into cashmere blankets and candles and accessories and home items and stuff. So we were talking about certain things and what we need to do. So sometimes it's the art and commerce are always a yin and yang of each other. And so that's why we work so well together, because we respect each other's opinion. And then when we get down to it, we want to see what we think is best for the company. And she's really good at that. And she's so creative. Just as living or being married to any kind of creative person, you always have to, they want to go on all kind of different directions, but you got to rein them in a little bit. But
like a
you know,
shepherd, yeah.
it's a good thing because she has ideas all the time. So we always come up with new products and new things on the website. So we're really excited to kind of take this to the next level, and that's what we're trying to do together here.
And also, before we close this segment, Katie, give us a word about the jewelry. I think that's fascinating as you're taking metal and other objects and creating them in things that people wear.
Yes. So in regards to the jewelry, it is not like I really wanted to become a jewelry designer. That was never an aspiration of mine. But again, it's a great example of what happens when you just start opening yourself up to what could be. And the jewelry came into play because what I have found when you are dealing with the divine, with God and Spirit, a Holy Spirit, that is an intangible. There, you cannot audibly see, you cannot audibly hear. So how do you connect to the divine is through your senses. And so we need to stimulate our senses through our environment as a continual reminder. It begins to train you to keep yourself open, and that's how the jewelry came into play.
And if anyone would like to look at the jewelry, buy some jewelry, and your book, Let It Be, where do they go?
KatieScottDesign.com.
Katie. Even I can get it. And we're going to come right back with even more. Thank you, Katie and Stanton.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to
Bill.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stay with us. We're coming back with even more.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Nampick. And now, around the Houston area, many people know about Buffalo Bayou Partnership. We're going to hear about the latest, their new book. We have Trudi Smith. She's the Director of PR and Events for Buffalo Bayou Partnership. Trudi, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Bill.
It's been a while since you were here, but we always love to know what's going on because there's always so much. First of all, let's tell people what Buffalo Bayou Partnership is.
Buffalo Bayou Partnership is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is really simple: to revitalize and improve Buffalo Bayou, Houston's most significant natural resource. And our jurisdiction is not the whole 52 miles of Buffalo Bayou. It's a 10-mile stretch that we're responsible for improving, beginning at Shepherd Drive and then going east all the way to the Ship Channel.
And you're taking that 10-mile stretch and treating it like the gem that it is and always improving. So let's give people an idea of some of the improvements and things you're doing.
Well, we're so thrilled with the newest. I can't believe it's been over a year old of completion of Buffalo Bayou Park, which is a stretch from Shepherd Drive to Sabine Street. It's 160 acres, 2.3 miles. We have a number of destinations and amenities, 2 new visitor centers. We have restrooms for those joggers, which I know they're very happy about.
Many joggers out there, too.
And let's see. So we have bike rentals at one of the visitor centers. We have canoe and kayak rentals. We have a cafe called the Dunleavy, which offers fantastic breakfast and lunches. We have a dog park. The dog park is very popular, and so lots of happy pups.
Everybody's happy when they go to those locations. Also, first of all, as we start out, let's tell people the website.
BuffaloBayou.org.
So simple. They can go Buffalo Bayou, O-R-G. Also, there's a book that's recently out. Let's hear about that.
That's right. So it's called From Rendering to Reality, the story of Buffalo Bayou Park. And this has actually been 2 years in the making. It is a really beautiful book. I'm a little biased, but we're really proud of this book. And it tells the story of how this park came to be, what people thought of, what people wanted Houston to be back in the late 1800s when Houston was founded. On June 27th at Brazos Bookstore, we're having a book event, reception, and you can purchase a copy there. Stephen Fox is going to tell a little bit about the history of this area.
June 20th, that's just a few days from now.
It's next, yes, it's just a few days.
It's on Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
So if people want to go to that, let's tell them how they can do that.
So it's 7 o'clock, Brazos Bookstore, and just arrive, no reservations. We'll have a little wine for a little incentive as well, and learn about Buffalo Bayou.
That sounds incredible. Also, let's tell people when we think about the history, certainly it's in the book, but let's talk a little bit about the history because Houston, I mean, we're talking about the 1800s, pre-air conditioning, and it's hard to even believe that people lived here without air conditioning.
It's amazing, right. That's so the Allen brothers founded Houston in 1836 in August. If you can imagine, cannot even imagine the mosquitoes and the humidity. But Houston was founded on this city. So Prairie Street in downtown, that was actually prairie land back then. We had bison roaming the area, and so it has a lot of history. We have a lot of philanthropy within this area as well. So a lot of thought.
No question about it. And a lot of, most people like to give back, especially in the real estate community. Realtors are always doing things to help the city and help other people. So it really is we really have an incredible city and all the things that are in it, but also the people are really incredible. And I know this. I got here to Houston 1982-ish, and talking to people, what's the first thing I noticed? That it was such a friendly city, and people still say that today, this many years later.
It's exactly, and you made a good point as far as realtors, because they're selling the city. And I just made a presentation to a real estate firm and mentioned that they are the ambassadors for our city and really show how much Houston has to offer. And we feel that Buffalo Bayou is really this iconic feature and amenity for our city.
No doubt about it. And also, I met you over a year ago at a real estate event. So realtors are always out there, and you really speak to a lot of groups, not just realtors, but you're always talking to people about your organization.
And love the opportunity to really let people know everything that we do have to offer, like, in events. We have boat tours, we have kayak tours, walking tours, to get to know this park feature and all the recreational activities.
Let's tell people about the walking tours, maybe one or two of them. What happens on the tours?
It's every third Saturday of the month. It's the free 1-hour walking tours. You are led by a Texas master naturalist, and she will identify some of the plants, talk about the prairie land that was Houston when it was first founded, and identify all of the native species that explore and discover when you're walking along.
Also, and then what about the boat tours?
The boat tours, we have a number of tours. We have a history tour that's led by Louis Allback, who has written a book on Buffalo Bayou. We have a new tour called Port to Port, because Allen's Landing, which is, we consider Houston's Plymouth Rock, is where the Allen brothers...
I like that. It's like the Plymouth Rock. I never thought of that.
That's right, exactly. So, and it was Houston's first port. It was Texas' first port. So it's a history on this port, and then the Ship Channel port that we have. We also have bat tours to see this incredible bat colony that's located at Waugh Drive, the second largest urban bat colony that you'll see bats emerge.
And then when we talk about the size, the how many bats are we estimating when we think about that?
We're estimating
because they're little.
They're tiny, and summertime is peak time because the pups, as they're called, the little baby
There's
pups,
a migration that takes place.
There's 300,000 bats, getting closer to
goodness.
300,000 bats that live underneath there. So it's an incredible sight to see. And what's fascinating, it's the same bridge construction at Waugh Drive as Congress Avenue Bridge in Austin. They're famous for their bats.
I saw
so the bats really know what they like. But it's fascinating to watch because you'll see hawks flying above, waiting for these bats, baby bats, to learn how to fly. You'll see snakes and other egrets and wildlife down below. It's
fascinating. Now, to digress just a minute, if you were by my house a few years ago, you could have taken my bat tour. My neighbor had bats, and you're not allowed to hurt them at all. You have to wait till the season. And the house next to me, they can get in a little crevice, and I'm holding
size of a quarter.
The size of a quarter of an inch. Those bats were in the side of my neighbor's house, and they would leave at 9 o'clock, 9:30 when it got dark. So tons of them would fly out, and in the morning about 6 a.m., 5:30, at first I thought they were at my house, but they weren't. But then they would fly into the neighbor's siding, and it wasn't until September till they could make a trap where they could go out and not come back. But it was absolutely fascinating to watch.
That's fascinating, scary. I would have to move temporarily.
Well,
I can't imagine. I bet there were no mosquitoes around.
That's right. We were mosquito free just for that summer, right. So we enjoyed that. But it is fascinating the nature that takes place. Mm-hmm. And the other comment I would have about all the wildlife that's here, including bats. You're talking about snakes. I'm no fan of the snake, but anyway, all the wildlife's here. We have so many cars and so much construction and so much progress, let's say, in buildings, yet the wildlife finds a way to be around. Just by my house at 610 and Post Oak, I'm seeing all kinds of animals that are right near this busy section of Houston.
It's fascinating. It is. It's this urban
room for everybody.
Or it's room for everyone, and that's exactly what Buffalo Bayou Partnership is trying to do: is create this balance between accessibility to the community and also for the wildlife, because this is their natural habitat. So it's really encouraging to see so much wildlife.
Indeed, it is. Trudi, let's tell people the website once again.
BuffaloBayou.org. O-R-G.
And the event is on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, this coming Tuesday, right?
June 27th, that's correct, at 7 o'clock at Brazos Bookstore to learn more about a new book that's out called From Rendering to Reality, The Story of Buffalo Bayou Park.
I bet it has some beautiful pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, Trudi Smith, and thank you for the tie that you gave me a year ago with all the buffaloes on it. I still wear it, and I enjoy it so much. Trudi Smith with Buffalo Bayou Partnership. Stay with us. We're coming back with much more.
If you've been in the real estate industry for any length of time, you know unexpected and costly events can happen. Safeguard yourself against the unexpected with Real Estate Errors and Omissions Insurance, or E&O, through Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Not all E&O insurance policies are created equal. How confident are you that your current E&O policy fully protects you? Stewart Insurance and Risk Management offers expertise in the real estate industry and tailors your coverage to correctly manage your risk. With Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, facing the unexpected just became a lot easier. Safeguard your future with real estate E&O insurance through Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Call today at 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com to request tailored insurance options for you and your business.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We march on indeed. Now, insurance. Everybody loves insurance. Home, auto, umbrella policies, all kind of insurance. You can go to Stewart.com. She is here, Brittany Tacquard with Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. I know everyone's on the edge of their seats. Just they hear insurance and they're just really excited about it, right?
When they hear that word, that is right. People tune in all the time. Their ears perk up. And it's because insurance is so necessary. It's one of the pillars of our portfolios, of our financial life, incorporating and managing risks. So let's tell people about Stewart Insurance and Risk Management.
Exactly. And I know that everybody on our team is definitely very excited when it does come to insurance, and we do a good job, I think, most of the time in exciting our customers. But just to give you a background of who Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is we are owned by Stewart Title. So that naturally kind of puts us in that real estate world, right? So we service mainly home buyers who are going through that real estate transaction, just like I've heard from everybody here so far on today's show. In some type of way, we're differentiating by working with that homeowner or that to-be homeowner or home seller. And that's what we do as well. So we work within that real estate transaction, helping homeowners secure home insurance and other personal insurance as needed. And then on the commercial side of our business, we actually insure those who operate within the real estate industry with their business insurance. So that's just kind of an overview of who we are. And what I've heard today a lot, and I actually had to go and read from the current book I'm reading, which is Start With Why, which it's a
Why are you reading that?
I
started
you know
with
what?
why.
It
Just
does.
saying.
It starts with, so
Okay, start
why
with
I'm
why.
reading it, it's because it has a lot to do with how we run our organization. And we talked a little bit about not being a commodity. You know, when we think of insurance, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is commodity, is it not? And the point that this book is trying to make is really people usually communicate from what you do to how you do it to then why, and how that's really a backwards philosophy. And we really should be talking about why we do things first, and then moving into that circle, how we do it, and then getting to the what we do. So really our why as an organization is to positively impact lives by properly insuring better.
And one of the
That's-
great things,
that's
too,
what it
when
is.
a big difference with your company is when they need to talk to someone, they don't go through a bunch of voice prompts. We say it all the time, but it's worth reminding people, if they want information Monday through Friday, just give you a call. What's that number, Brittany?
So the number is 866-845-4676.
And they can talk to somebody very easily.
Absolutely. And it helps to talk to somebody that's not just going to be pushing you off, or actually have the knowledge and the ability to educate you as far as the answer that you're looking for. Definitely. And so really, and when you talk about the voice prompts and all of that, we really have to go back. Every decision that we make as a company, is this going to positively impact somebody's life? Are we properly insuring them better to make that impact? And so that's really, when it comes to, as an organization, that's really what we strive for. So yes, you can definitely get in contact with somebody. When it comes to our training, when it comes to hiring, we want people that come in with passion about helping people, because that's ultimately what insurance does. And being able to educate, and that's how we're really forming our organization. We're growing at a rapid pace, and we're excited to do it. So
Helping people every day. And I think it's important, too. I would remind people, you don't need to wait till your insurance renewal comes in. And sometimes that's what people do, and then they just, hey, let's just renew it. But I think you need to assess your needs as things change through the year. Our lives change, additions, maybe we move our home, or maybe some other things. Maybe we buy a second home, a rental home, whatever. So we need to constantly be tailoring and adjusting our insurance needs, and also so that we have the right coverage and not pay too much.
Right, exactly. And insurance is all very different, and it does pay to talk with a professional with it when it comes to your insurance. And it's also good to know these types of things. Maybe, a lot of people, I think, don't know that when they get married, when they have a child, when they acquire another home, or switch out cars, sometimes these things, you don't think about your insurance all that much, even as these larger changes come about in your life. And so it's good to definitely know that. And it's also good to work with an agent that's going to be reaching back out to you and asking you those types of questions, so you make sure you have the correct coverage.
And one of the great things, too, is they can go to Stewart.com, the very first page, and you have it organized very nicely, where you have personal insurance, like the home, the auto, umbrella policies, but also commercial to help real estate brokers and people that are that have commercial needs. That's excellent. Stewart.com.
Absolutely. Stewart.com. We got our own insurance tab. It's pretty nice.
Okay, so I was thinking about insurance and your company just this week. I was watching the movie John Wick Chapter 2, and there were several car chases. And during these car chases, he wrecks into like 20 cars.
My goodness.
And I'm thinking, I know it's make-believe, right, Brittany? So, but what I'm thinking is that, holy smokes, just imagine if there really were a claim to be made the next day where he calls his insurance, or, it's just ridiculous.
He calls his insurance after he runs into 20
I'm
cars.
imagining that, but I don't know.
Exactly. So that's what you would call. You have to look at your limits when it comes to that car insurance. I'm no expert at it. We have our licensed insurance agents that I know can actually go through that coverage. But that's when you have one single accident, you have a certain limit in terms of the entire amount of damage, and then a certain limit for the medical expenses that he might have incurred during that
Oh, he
rampage.
got beat up bad, yes. And I would say anybody, the next time they watch a movie or TV show with a car chase, just be glad that you're not the one that has to make that claim. Right, Brittany?
Exactly.
And one more time, Brittany, what's the number and how they can reach out to you? I threw you a curve there
Yeah,
today.
you did. So the number is 866-845-4676, and you can also see us online, Stewart.com, or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com, and we are happy to help you.
Very nice. And Tom Carpentier leading the company in a magnificent way 24/7, even when he sleeps. Thank you so much, Brittany Tacquard. And now he is back, Bill Baldwin with Boulevard Realty. Bill, what else should we know?
Bill, it's all about connectivity. Boulevard Realty, we just had a tour at Buffalo Bayou Park. We went to their new Sunset Coffee building, had a private tour with their executive director. It was an amazing experience to see what they have done, but what they have in future store, going all the way to the ship channel and the connectivity that we're going to have through there. Katie and her comments about white, bright, clear, decluttering. I can't preach that enough to our clients.
Let's hear it
who are
again.
some-
Yeah, white,
clean,
right.
decluttered, one focal point. Less is more.
No doubt.
That is the. I give that talk all the time to people. If there's one thing you know and you want to sell your house, clean, decluttered, sanctuary as a city sanctuary as a home. That's really what we want. So real estate's all about connectivity. Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance, and thank you for all that you do to promote our industry. And buy a house near a hike and bike trail or buy a house near a park. That's great advice today.
And no bats. Leave the bats down at the bayou, not at the homes.
Bats
And Bill,
are
what
great
you
for
said it
agriculture.
earlier. People are selling big homes for better lifestyles. I'm paraphrasing, but did I get it right?
Quality over quantity, but yes, that's it. You did
That
it.
ties in with everything in the show today. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you so
Bill,
much.
Let's tell people how they can reach you one more time.
YourBLVD.com.
No doubt about it. And speaking of design, she is here with all those things and so much more. Katie Scott and her husband Stanton. Welcome back.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Well, what else should people know before we close out the show?
Work from the inside out. That is my number one thing that I want
Let's
to
say that again.
work from the inside out.
That makes so much sense. But what do you mean by that?
That means take it up first, bring it in, and then pull it out. Because honestly, when you reach from a higher source and really get inspiration to be and fulfill your purpose, be all that you can be, then everything out from inside comes out on the outside, connecting.
And we also like to say our tagline is style your soul. So that's our literally on our website, style your soul, our products. We say style your soul. So that's a big part
Absolutely.
of it as well.
And let's tell people again, the website, they could, I mean, the designs are just knocked out. The interior and the jewelry is so nice. Let's tell them the website again, Katie.
KatieScottDesign.com, and it's Katie.
Forget about I-10 in Katy, Texas. Katie. The other thing I'm thinking about when Bill was talking and Trudi, and that is, and everybody in this room, but there are so many, going back to Buffalo Bayou, there's so many visionaries that are in this city right now,
Yes.
and that have been since the 1800s, since Sam Houston, the Allen brothers, all those things. But it would be interesting to know right now in the minds of people that actually do things in their businesses, like all of us here, what is in store, because I bet there's a lot of ideas that are in everybody's head that are going to become realities that are going to make an impact on this wonderful city, and it's going to be amazing. It is right now. Don't you think
Yes.
that?
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. I think Houston has so many incredible entrepreneurs. Going back to, I find Houston to be one of the friendliest cities, 100%. And I can't wait to see what is going to come from Houston. Big things happen in Texas.
And we're American made and Texas made, so we're proud to be, a Texas company and support local people.
That's right. And again, the website, Katie.
ScottDesign.com.
Style
Check
your
it
soul.
Check it out. It's going to be incredible. And now she is back, Trudi Smith, before we close out the show with Buffalo Bayou Partnership. Boy, we'd bring Sam Houston on if he was still around. But I think about Houston history when I think about Buffalo Bayou, and you always spur that imagination, Trudi. What else should we know?
Well, talking about things to come, so we are moving east. We're creating a master plan for the east of downtown, beginning at Allen's Landing, where everything started, all the way to the ship channel. So stay tuned for that as far as this master plan, but also wanted to mention the cistern. We have a water reservoir.
Tell us about that.
Built in 1926. It is a reservoir that is the size of a football field and a half. We have this incredible video installation that ends on Sunday, June 25th.
That's like tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Okay, run, get there soon. But this
the
cistern, is it
cistern
underground?
It's underground. It's partially underground. So it's
Amazing.
it's open to the public for history tours of this incredible space. It was one of the first water reservoirs for drinking water in Houston back in the 1920s.
That's
and
wild.
so learn more about that.
And that also, there are so many things we think, those of us, I've been here since 82, we think we know the city, but Houston is also a city of surprises. There are gems that are under rocks that we hadn't thought about. So I think it's exciting. That's one of the hidden secrets.
There are so many wonderful hidden gems, and it's a place to discover exactly the neighborhoods, and going back to the people, friendly people. But I love the city, and it's never a dull moment. There is always something exciting to explore.
And the book again is called
From Rendering to Reality, The Story of Buffalo Bayou Park.
Interesting. Very nice. And again, the website, Trudi Smith,
is buffalobayou.org.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here and keeping us posted.
Thanks,
you
Bill.
have been listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, a jam-packed show with great information, and we encourage you, all the websites. I'm going to tell you go to boulevardrealty.com, or it's your BLVD, right, Bill? Something like that. Just Google Boulevard Realty. You'll see Bill Baldwin. You'll see him in Architectural Digest magazine. You'll hear about him, all kinds of great things. We have visionaries in this room, no doubt about it. Katie and Stanton Scott right here. Go to their website. If you want to get an idea of how to decorate your home, just look at Katie's website and then try and say, I can't do it. I better call Katie. That's what's going to happen because her designs are incredible, both interior and the jewelry. Stanton Scott, he's right here leading the business in a tremendous way. And, of course, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. We thank you so much. I don't know. I think this is show number 1. The serial number is 177 on this one. If you turn it upside down, you will see it, 177. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. You think the show's ending, and it really is at the time of broadcast, but it never really ends because it is just like Netflix, but different. Because you can go to Stewart.com/Houston anytime, 3 o'clock in the morning, anytime, anywhere, any city, any country. Stewart.com/Houston. And if you want to see the guests, you can go to my YouTube channel. That is Bill Napick with a K. The first K is silent. The second one, you can say it. Bill Napick Radio Shows. My YouTube channel, Stewart.com/Houston Show 177. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to go back to my home and see about getting an interior designer named Katie Scott. Until next week, we'll see you then. Thanks for listening.